bankruptcy judge has just declared that Alex Jones will not be able to file for bankruptcy. On Friday, June 10th in Texas, according to the Associated Press, US bankruptcy judge Christopher Lopez, great name, dismissed a bankruptcy protection case involving 3 companies that Jones controls: InfoWars LLC, Prison Planet TV, and IW Health. The judge's actions allowed the parents' defamation lawsuits against Jones to continue in Texas and Connecticut, where trials are pending on how much he should pay families after judges in both of those states found that his companies were liable for damages. And again, this has to do with the defamation case that was brought forth by the victims of the Sandy Hook mass shooting. He had defamed those family members by declaring that that mass shooting, which killed their children, was nothing more than a false flag operation meant to take guns away from Americans. Now, at the same time, Jones is obviously losing one legal battle after the next, and he doesn't want to take any responsibility for it. So instead, he has decided to eat his own and go after his own legal team, which I'll give you the details of in just a moment. But I'm very curious what you all have to say about this. Cenk, thoughts on the rejection of the bankruptcy claim?
Critical. If the courts allowed him to hide his money, then all this would have been for naught. And this is the court saying, no, we already have evidence of your money. For example, we've said this a couple of times because it's so startling. He apparently made $165 million from his shop, where he basically sells snake oil over a course of just 3 years, let alone all the other money from all the other years from the shop, let alone any other kind of money that he makes from his audience. So he's got hundreds of millions of dollars. It would have been a total farce if they let him hide it. And so it's great news that the judge said, no, we're not gonna fall for those silly tricks.
I agree 100% with Cenk, and I'll speak as somebody who lives 20 minutes from Newtown, 20 minutes from Sandy Hook Elementary School in this part of Connecticut. Words cannot describe how painful what Alex Jones did to these families, to the relatives, to the friends, to the teachers. I mean, it's the horrifying truth is that there's nothing like what a parent goes through when your kid gets shut up and is unrecognizable, whether it's Sandy Hook, whether it's Uvalde, whatever it is. But then to add insult to that, to have somebody who's got such a big platform make up stuff about your kids, about what happened, it is, again, there are no words that can describe how horrified and sickened people here in Connecticut have been by Alex Jones. And so anything that makes Alex Jones not only have to pay more money, but be miserable is good news.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I mean, time to time, the Posner family comes to mind, and this is the family who lost their little boy as a result of this shooting, and then after that had to deal with the harassment of Alex Jones's audience. They had to deal with credible threats. In fact, a woman was arrested as a result of that. They had to move 7 times because of the harassment and the threats they were dealing with. This is, I wish there was as much like passionate attention toward this case as there was with the defamation case brought forth for Amber Heard's claims against Johnny Depp, right? Like that story got a lot of attention, a lot of people were fired up. But this particular story is just one of such extreme injustice, and it might finally lead to justice for these family members. Alex Jones knows it, he's flailing, he's struggling to come up with a scapegoat. So the latest group of people who are dealing with his ire, dealing with the blame, his lawyers, okay? So one of his current lawyers, Brittany Paz, says the following in regard to the previous legal team, and it has been a rotating legal team. I did have concerns on behalf of the company regarding the company's prior representation. Yes, she said in a deposition that was obtained by the Daily Beast. Paz doesn't say in her deposition which of their former attorneys InfoWars might sue, so they are planning on pursuing legal action. But she singled out 3 lawyers, Mark Randazza, Brad Reeves, and Robert Barnes for special criticism. Paz also says that some of InfoWars' lawyers were botching the case, that they screwed up the discovery process, that they were just completely incompetent. Now, Mark Randazza and Robert Barnes have both become celebrity lawyers for all sorts of right-wing grifters, so I've got no love for them, to be clear. As for Randazza, though, he does have a pretty shady past, and I want to give you guys the details on that. For instance, the Daily Beast reports that Randazza once pleaded guilty to ethical violations in a Nevada bar investigation into whether he had cut a side deal with another client's legal foes. So just imagine that, cutting deals with like the other side. So there could be some legitimate accusations here by Jones, but nonetheless, he's blaming his other colleagues at InfoWars to save his own ass. And I'm talking about the lawyer here, Randazza. The revolving cast of lawyers at InfoWars has included some outstanding lawyers who are confident in their own abilities. It has also included some utterly terrible lawyers. Remember, he's not talking about himself here, he's talking about others. Utterly terrible lawyers who made some of the dumbest moves I've ever seen. Those in the latter camp seem to be interested in deflecting attention from their incompetence onto the competent lawyers who compete with them. Remember, this is the guy who got investigated by the Nevada bar, and he's like, no, it was the other lawyers, they're bad.
Yeah, so there's two elements here, guys. One is the circular firing squad, and that's awesome. And so, look, unfortunately, Democrats are terrible at fighting Republicans, the right wing, etc. So our only hope is the right wing is so crazy that they all just turn on each other. And it happens all the time. Linwood just turned on Mike Lindell, the pillow guy. So like two of the craziest guys, now they're fighting. Because once you're crazy, there's no off switch on crazy. So then you're crazy towards your lawyers, you hire crazy lawyers, they're crazy towards you and towards the other lawyers. And so is it true that some of his lawyers were utterly terrible, I think as they put it? Yeah, of course it's true. One of the lawyers accidentally sent child pornography to the plaintiff lawyers. Now look, there was good credible information that it wasn't Alex Jones's child porn, but do you think Alex Jones would have been honest about that if someone on the left had sent child porn to someone accidentally? No, they'd call him a pedophile for the rest of his life, right? And so one of the lawyers did that from Jones's computer, right? They lost the cases badly. And then now here comes a really interesting second part. In the midst of all this, Alex Jones sued us for defamation in the middle of all these trials. Now, not only are the families of the kids suing him for defamation because he called them crisis actors and said they didn't really have kids, etc. And not only that, he also picked a random guy and said he was a real killer. And of course, that guy's suing him. So when he went to sue us for defamation, it was a monumental error. Not only because, of course, we didn't defame him, we just stated facts that were true, but the plaintiff's lawyers that were representing the family said, if Alex Jones' suit against the young Turks and Cenk are true, then we definitely win our case. What he did was not the same, it was way worse than what he is alleging the young Turks did to him. They withdrew the suit within a week because they're serial bunglers. They're morons and lunatics. So of course the lunatics have turned on each other, and this is gonna be a wonderful mess.
Yeah, I didn't know about that story, Cenk. I didn't know that he had pursued a lawsuit against us.
Yeah.
Breaking news for me, and I love it. It's amazing.
And he shot himself in the foot instantly. He's like, oh God.
I've long maintained that Alex Jones is not one of the best and the brightest, that maybe the reason he's gotten as far as he has, maybe it's because of his voice or there's something bombastic about his personality that attracts people in a broadcast medium. But he's not a smart guy. He really is not very smart. And too many people say, oh, Alex Jones, he's brilliant. He's not brilliant, he's an idiot. But he has something about him, about his personality that somehow transcends broadcasting, and that's the only thing that he has going for him.
Yeah.
And look, he's on camera. There's like one broadcast after another where he's very clearly defaming. With the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, they're like secretly recording each other and doing all sorts of stuff on the down low. With Alex Jones, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do the defamation out there. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna say it out loud. I'm gonna do it on my show. In fact, we have a compilation for you. Let's take a quick look at that.
It's all a fraud, ladies and gentlemen. This is just the anti-gun lobby and anti-free speech lobby attaching themselves to some parents who basically now have attached themselves to me. So anytime my name's brought up, their children and what happened to them gets back in the news. The Newtown kids, they take them, put them in our face, tell us their names, who they were. Sandy Hook, it's got inside job written all over it. Sandy Hook is a synthetic, completely fake, with actors, in my view, manufactured. I couldn't believe it at first. People just instinctively know that there's a lot of fraud going on. But it took me about a year with Sandy Hook to come to grips with the fact that the whole thing was fake. This is nothing but a bunch of propaganda. America sees through it, and this is really a symptom of how sick our nation has become.
And the fact that he was so brazen with the defamatory statements, to me, demonstrates that he knows the right wing, more often than not, gets away with everything because no one fights back. But in this case, the victims of Sandy Hook, the victims of Alex Jones's lies, fought back. And they did so in a courageous way. It's not easy to do it. The right wing is vicious and they protect their own at all costs. But I'm really proud of these families, and I hope that they get rewarded the damages that they deserve. And I love watching people like Alex Jones suffer. He absolutely deserves it. To blame it on his lawyers who might or might not be incompetent, I don't know, I don't care, is ridiculous considering, again, how openly he used those defamatory statements on his show.
Yeah, it's startling how similar he is to Donald Trump. Just brazenly lie, over the top lies, just be loud, just repeat it 1,000 times, hire completely incompetent people and then blame them for incompetence. Well, dude, aren't you the guy who hired them? I mean, that's to David's point. The media is constantly talking about Trump's strategy and Alex Jones' strategy. There ain't no strategy, they're mentally unbalanced. It's just the reason for their success is because, unfortunately, a very large percentage of this country wants to be lied to. They want to believe that, oh no, guns are going to keep you safer, and that white people should always be in charge, and that real democracy is when you don't have equality, and that's why we should take away rights from gay people and trans people, etc. They want to hear these lies, and Alex Jones and Donald Trump are just serving that need. They don't have any grand strategy at all, and these court cases are certainly proving that.
Yeah, and I'll just add that the families here, they'll make it clear that they don't care about the money. This isn't about money to them. They do want Alex Jones to be wiped out. They want him to be financially destroyed. They want to make sure that Alex Jones can never do his gig again. And if cleaning out his money is the way to do it, then the families are fine. But I guarantee the families, every dime that they make out of this defamation, I would guarantee is not going to go in their own pockets. It's going to go to try to fight the gun lobby, the NRA, to try to pass common sense gun reforms.